Let's head back to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Hey, guys. This might not be a big deal, but when watching elite quarterbacks in the NFL, it's amazing how Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and even Joe Burrow are magicians at moving skillfully around the pocket while avoiding a pass rush, along with the other qualities that make them great. 3 of those guys tested our D-line and made us pay due to not enough pressure. What QBs in this draft have this escapability trait based on what you've seen from them in college thus far? Pro game is so darn fast. Not sure the consensus top 2 guys have this in their makeup. Thank you.
As always, appreciate all of the voicemails. Let's welcome in Sam Monson from the 33rd team. He is also co-host of the Check the Mic podcast. Sam, we're still real early in quarterback evaluation process. Senior Bowl will be in a couple weeks, so you'll get some of that. Are there any that you know that are that talented at moving around in the pocket? That's what made Tom Brady so elite as well.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. There's sort of 2 elements to this. There's the trend, I think, in the last few years of mobility and ability to create off schedule, off platform, outside of the structure of the offense. That's almost becoming a necessary tool, whereas previously it was kind of a bonus if a quarterback could do that. Now you almost need that as a baseline. Or if you don't have that, you had better be Tom Brady. You had better be so good from a mental processing standpoint that you can still survive as strictly a statue within the pocket. And there really aren't many of those guys still in existence. And then you got the other element, the sort of the careful difference that you just articulated between, Tom Brady had exceptional pocket presence and pocket movement, but was no kind of athlete, and the same thing is true for a lot of these other pocket passers. They were extremely good at moving within the pocket and resetting and avoiding pressure and being able to move subtly without having to do dramatic, Lamar Jackson, Michael Vick type of things to escape and make plays on the run. So, I think somebody like Cam Ward from Miami shows the athleticism, the ability to create outside of structure, and a lot of the high-end special traits, but you wouldn't say necessarily that his skill is consistency and that just simple pocket movement from within. And that's where I think it gets a lot more difficult, because that's a trait that I think that can exist in the college level, but becomes a lot more difficult to project to the next level. And I think you're going to get guys all over the place in terms of evaluation from this draft class, because a lot of these guys show the ability to do it sometimes, but not necessarily consistently. And it's about projecting guys like, Jackson Dart or Curtis Rourke and players like that, and trying to figure out if that is something that we can get consistently at the next level, or if it's just something that happens inconsistently even at the college level.
Yeah, and that's the reason, quite frankly, that you don't have any of these guys that are surefire locked in. Some of them, all of them have things they do really well, things they don't do so well, and a lot of inconsistencies, which is why you don't have anybody ranked as hey, you got to take him if you have one of the first 10 picks.
Yeah, it's not a vintage-looking draft class. It's not a class where you look and say there's 3, 4, 5 guys that we love in the first round. I don't think it's as bad as it was a couple of years ago when Kenny Pickett was the only quarterback in the first round, and there was debate as to where Kenny Pickett would have been drafted if the Steelers hadn't been desperate enough to take him, at pick number 20 or 21 or wherever it was they grabbed him. A lot of people were saying, look, Kenny Pickett is not any better than the rest of that draft class. And those guys all started to go in the 3rd round. So I don't think it's as bad as that draft class, but neither is it as good as, a couple of the ones either side of that, where there were 4 or 5 guys, 6 guys getting drafted in the first round. And everybody was pretty comfortable with that. Last year, there were 6 guys drafted in the first round, and all of them looked to have been pretty good. I mean, obviously J.J. McCarthy hurt his knee, and we haven't seen as much of him. But everybody that's seen playing time as a rookie has at least been average, if not better. We're not looking at that kind of draft class.